The finale of Stranger Things left a lot of unsolved things in the story, and a lot of questions that have no answers. And let's be honest, they probably never will. So today I want to run down on those questions and the possible answers to find out the truth. This one is actually not gonna have an official answer, since the Duffer brothers said the answer is up to the viewer's mind. But she either survived or not, and Mike's theory has a lot of holes. Like, how could Kali survive the shot without any treatment long enough to make the illusion? And how could she create the illusion all the way from where she was? And she had a focus to use her powers on a large scale. How could she concentrate on both using her powers and not be pulled by the void? So I believe 11 is really dead, and Mike's theory is just a coping mechanism. But it's up to the viewers' minds, so write down in the comments if you agree with me or not, and why. The experiment started a long time ago, since before 11 was born, because, as we see in Season 5, the kids in Hawkins' lab were injected with Henry's blood before they were even born and taken away from their parents. But the powers weren't naturally given to them. They were given to them by the doctors. But the question is, why? What did they want to achieve with those experiments? And while reflecting on this question, I've come up with 3 answers. First possibility, they want to start a new species of people, superior to regular humans, to make a better society in the future. The second possibility is that they wanted to train the kids to be super soldiers and use their powers for military purposes. And the third possibility is that they were monitoring the brains of the kids while they were using their abilities to try and replicate those abilities on regular adults and use them for military purposes. And between those possibilities, the third one seems more reasonable to me, because it's the only one where they could have immediate results, since in the first scenario, they don't really get anything from the results. And the second scenario is too unstable. Humans are too unpredictable, especially kids, so it would be impossible to be certain that they would listen to what the doctors say and obey. But in the third scenario, they are the ones with powers. They are the ones with abilities, so they have 100% control over the situation. We know that in the end of Stranger Things, they killed Vecna. And we know that his mind is connected to the Mind Flayer. So if Vecna died, then the Mind Flayer must have died as well, right? Well, if that's true, then how is Will still alive? According to a random guy on Reddit, Will survived because he spent Season 5 transforming his connection to the hive mind from a liability into a weapon. But I don't buy this. If we watch the final episode again, we see that when they disconnect the kids from the Mind Flayer, they have particles of the Mind Flayer inside of them. So perhaps the Mind Flayer is still alive, even if weaker, and it's just getting ready to strike back again and find another vessel. So this one is kind of interesting, because we actually have an official answer by the Duffer brothers. But the answer is so bad that I don't believe it. If we didn't have the official answer, I saw a theory saying they melted into the Mind Flayer, just like the people in Season 3. It would make so much sense. But that's unfortunately not what happened. The official answer is that Vecna wasn't expecting a sneak attack, so he wasn't prepared, and he had the Mind Flayer to protect him, so he wasn't worried. But that answer is terrible and creates more questions. Like, where were the upside down creatures then? And where did the Mind Flayer body come from? The Fen theory makes far more sense. This is the ultimate question that will probably never have an answer. They committed so many crimes. Serious crimes, by the way. They killed countless military soldiers, broke out Kali, a military prisoner, drugged and kidnapped the whole family, which by itself would get them in jail for at least 5 years. How did they just live their lives peacefully and free? I actually have no possible answers for this. The only answer I can think of is plot armor and nothing else.